Yo guys, with the recent release of the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, we now have 6 Ice Age movies. So today I'm gonna rank all 6 Ice Age movies from the worst to the best. Let's talk about it. Before we begin, comment down below how you would rank the 6 Ice Age movies. Personally, this is a franchise that I grew up with. I don't know how many of you grew up with this franchise, but I certainly did. And with all that said, let's get started. Coming in at last place is the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. I found this such a painful watch. It looks and feels so cheap. The animation is horrible that the characters don't even look like the original characters anymore. None of the voice actors returned, except for Simon Pegg. And unlike what the title seems to suggest, this movie isn't even about Buck Wild himself, it's about Crash and Eddie. And I don't think they are strong enough to carry a whole movie on their own. So yeah, this is easily the worst Ice Age movie and just a movie that I did not enjoy at all. Coming in at number 5 is Ice Age Collision Course. Yeah, this is also not a movie that I really enjoyed. By this point, all the logic is thrown out the window. There are way too many characters in this movie. The humor really isn't that funny at all. And you have Scrat in space, which I never really found all that funny or interesting at all. And I get that he was always this kind of over the top comic relief character, but by this point it just went too far for me. One thing I will say about this movie is that the return of Buck was very fun. He alone made this movie so much better than it could have ended up being. However, it still wasn't enough to save this movie, unfortunately. Coming in at number 4 is Ice Age Continental Drift. I have a fun enough time with this movie, but most of the problems I have with Ice Age 5 are also present in this movie. It lacks logic, like Scrat breaks up the entire Earth and immediately one day after that there's a map to Scrat land in. Like, who made that map when the Earth fell apart one day ago? And like Ice Age 5, there are too many characters. A lot of the humor isn't that funny. And while admittedly the pirates were a lot of fun, it also doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But overall, I had a fun enough time with this movie. Kicking off the top 3 is H2 the Meltdown. I would say this is a solid follow-up to the original. Introducing a love interest for Manny is a nice continuation for his character arc. Our heroes go off on another fun adventure, but unfortunately some scenes feel like they're just there to stretch out the runtime. Like all of a sudden you have the scene with this cult of Slavs worshipping Sid for making fire, and you have this random musical number from the Vultures. A couple of those type of scenes are not bad on itself, but they kind of feel out of place in this movie. But overall, just another fun adventure for our heroes. The runner-up is Ice Age 3 Dawn of the Dinosaurs. I think this movie provides a nice conclusion to Manny's character arc, from being depressed for losing his family in the first movie to starting a new one in this movie. And this is also easily the funniest of all the Ice Age movies, and the introduction of Buck Wild was such a great addition. And of course, who doesn't love dinosaurs? I do, at least. And I actually saw this movie in the theater, so I also have kind of a soft spot for this movie, and I think it's a very close second. But going in at number one is the original Ice Age. This is a movie I grew up with, and I still love it to this day. It is emotional, it is funny, it's heartfelt and heartwarming, even though it's set in the coldest period of the earth. And this movie introduces us to these great characters, Sid, Manny and Diego. They have a fun group dynamic, they bond throughout this movie. And apart from some very dated CGI, especially on the human characters, I really think this movie doesn't have any real big problems. To me, this is easily the greatest Ice Age movie, and to this day, it's still one of my favorite animated movies of all time. So, this is my ranking of all the Ice Age movies. Comment down below your ranking of all these movies. And please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And as always, I will return.